Page 5 now, the Democrat candidate, economic circus. If any of these Democrat buffoons who are running for president were to actually get inside the Oval Office, then woe is us. Woe are the free markets. Woe is liberty. Woe is any semblance of economic sanity. From Andrew Yang, who is so smart he's crazy, to Elizabeth Warren, who is maniacally deviant, any one of these crew would put the U.S. economy in a giant stranglehold.
This plan that you're introducing today, the wealth tax, is going to pay for this and other things.
Yes.
So how is your Medicare for All proposal going to be paid for, though, without the wealth tax?
So, as I've explained, the wealth tax will pay for universal child care all the way through canceling student loan debt. It's about an investment in an entire generation. Over the next few weeks, I'll be coming out with a plan about the costs of Medicare for All.
Why should caucus goers be confident that it's possible to pay for Medicare for all at all if the leading Democratic candidate still needs a couple more weeks to tell them how it's going to get paid for?
Why don't you ask me that when the plan is out?
I think she's not being honest about her plan. And I think her plan, which costs $33 trillion, is the equivalent of 70% of all the taxes that the federal government will collect over the next 10 years. I mean, it is a massive increase in taxes to this country's, and it hasn't been explained to the American people. It's a soundbite. And more than that, it's not based on common sense.
Unfortunately, we have to own up to the truth of the fact our capitalist system is not designed for our well-being. It's designed to maximize capital efficiencies. And increasingly, capital efficiencies will favor artificial intelligence, software, machines, and robots more and more than human beings.
Guy's off the deep end. Sure, he's successful, but so is a broken clock twice a day. As for Warren, here's the bottom line. Any politician who has to figure out how to pay for anything, run. Run away fast, because that means taxes. Massive, punitive taxes. Joining me now from Dallas, Texas, co-founder and chief strategist of GDP Advisors, Seth Denson. Seth, really, anytime one of these politicians says, give me a couple weeks to figure out how to pay for it, you know what's coming. And when these people talk about Medicare for all, or free college, or wiping out student loans, or a monthly stipend, someone in our once great capitalist system that's being chipped away at by these maniacs, someone is going to have to pay for that.
You know, someone once told me the problem with all this free stuff is eventually you run out of other people's money.
Yes.
Right? And the challenge you have here, you got universal health care, universal child care, universal college, universal jobs. The Democrats are addicted to the word universal. The problem is you have universal dependency and universal nanny state, right, if we move to this. And there's just no money to pay for any of it.
Yeah, that was Margaret Thatcher, by the way. As for Andrew Yang, I've never heard such a smart guy say such stupid stuff. I don't know what happened to him. I know he's a successful guy. I know he's a smart guy, clearly. But boy, some of the stuff comes out of his mouth is really scary to me. Let's move on to China and the trade deal. I have a question for you. Have the markets built in that there's going to be some sort of trade deal at some level, or are they waiting, poised to start buying like crazy once a deal is announced?
I think the markets are reacting somewhat erratically based on the day-to-day information. The markets want a deal to happen, right? But I think the markets and those that are driving the markets also recognize that the president needs a deal to happen. And they're fairly confident that he's going to get something done. Now, what will that look like? I don't know. But they're definitely confident that he's going to get something done. I'm confident that he's going to get something done. I'm hopeful, at least. And I think that if he does, here's the thing. We've got to stay true to our course. We've got to stay strong in this trade war. We've gone this far. We can't back down now.
Right, and we're hearing the president saying that the Chinese economy is suffering right now, sustaining a lot of damage. And this is what they're telling us, by the way, because we don't always know the reality of what's going on in China. And so if the Chinese economy is hurting right now, I think they're more likely to come to the table and sign a deal. And let's just hope that there is a deal signed and that President Trump gets reelected, because if one of these buffoons happens to get in the White House, they can undo all this hard work that Donald Trump has been trying to do on behalf of the American people the last 2 years. Seth, thanks.